Got it. Wow. So speaking of the hotspots, so the hotspots are used to send data with these data credits. And so are they sending the data to the owner of the hotspot? Or like, let's say Hawaii, they appear to be pretty lit up in the green. They have to send that data to the continental United States or to a centralized location, or is it all owned by whatever data is collected? Is it all owned by the individual that owns the hotspot?
So all the data, it just basically, the packets will traverse through the different antennas from one to the other. But none of that is going to reside or be accessible or anything by any of the hosts. We can't see all you can see within the Explorer console is just the size of the data and the fact that packets transferred, and then it'll just show you the path that it took
Gotcha.
as
Okay.
that data is moving.
Okay.
And
So
it's actually happening right now. Like, I have ones all over Northern Virginia, and despite it being a very new network, you see tons of data credits and packets constantly going across the antennas.
Gotcha. So like as an example of the Internet of Things, like the dog collar, as you mentioned before, how exactly would you get that information about where your dog's located at?
So that's going to be all third-party providers, folks that basically
Gotcha.
partner with Helium. These aren't services that they directly provide. They're just giving the network. There's actually a really cool use case that involves Volvo that utilizes LoRaWAN, and the provider that set that up with Volvo, they have now partnered with Helium, and folks can now roam onto the Helium network with those IoT devices. What Volvo was doing with that, their specific use case was that they're manufacturing these massive trucks, and commercial trucks, and manufacturing thousands and thousands of them and having to place them in these massive lots, and at the same time know where they are at any given time. And they piloted LoRaWAN and basically had very low cost sensors in each of the vehicles. As soon as it's manufactured, they just throw that sensor in there. And instead of having to spend so much time and energy constantly locating and maybe even moving the cars more often to stay organized, they're able to just apply this technology, and from there be able to locate the machine, save however many man hours and time and day and efficiency that's gained from that. So I mean, there's a lot of different use cases. There's even like retirement, not retirement community, but like in-home nurses that would have to come and take care of the elderly. There's a organization now that's going to use the Helium network to track and make sure that these folks actually go and stay at the locations that they say they're going to during the day, especially if they're dealing with, like, for example, patients that can't really relay or communicate whether or not that's taking place, right? Again, a cheaper approach to that is going to be something like that, especially if you're dealing with something where there's a lot of turnover, maybe the equipment gets lost, misplaced, stolen, etc. That's another thing where IoT comes into play a lot more, is that these devices are so simple. They have the simplest code on them, the simplest operating system, and with that, the cost is very low. So that also allows a lot of interesting use cases that you normally wouldn't have with something that you can't just dispose of.